everything we've done and what we are doing and what we believe in, and how the UK government, through the DFID, particularly the Pearl program, brought us on board. And it may interest you to know that when the Pearl program was leaving Nigeria, or leaving the Southeast, all the equipment, facilities, computers that you used were transferred for our takeoff. And it has helped us a whole lot because we had to use those equipment to set up a business center in Ebonyi State University and another one at Godfrey University. Particularly, it was a blessing for me because having done that, the state government said, okay, for you doing this, we reward you, and they made me a member of the governing council. So that's the truth. And you can now see why the former commissioner for commerce and industry, now the DG of EPSMEDA, is here with us. And one of the foremost industrialists in Ebonyi State, because he didn't introduce himself well. He's into waste to wealth manufacturing. All the waste bottles, waste cellophane bags. He has employed over 150 persons that gather them, dump them in a site, and he converts them into nylon bags that supermarkets and other marketplaces are using. So those are the kind of people that we are empowering through the Scholars Chamber of Commerce and Industry. So thank you very much. I'll hand over
His Excellency Mr. Baxter, I will not start to talk about this again because I think the Chief Executive Officer of the Scholars Chamber of Commerce and Industry has already given you the needful that you may want to take and then make the process. I will only say that I'm very happy that you are here, and I'm very happy that you also obey the state government by trying to go to start an initiative, business roundtable initiative, because you're coming here to have a business council initiative brings hope to the state, brings hope to us, and brings hope to you too. So we will say we're very, very grateful. Thank you so much. Please can we give him a hand of applause. I also want to say that there are many aspects apart from what the CEO said that are really in us here in terms of the problems that we have in the areas of food scarcity, economic scarcity, and health scarcity. These three lines of action promotes whether a state can develop or a state cannot develop. And if I'm talking about economic scarcity, I'm completely going into the process of the problems of economic infrastructure, the process of capital expenditure, the process of power generation in order to be able to create jobs for the people, in order to have public safety security in the state. And also, apart from those, it is also very important for me to let you know that none of those three sectors, like health sector, agriculture, food sector, scarcity, or economic sector, will work if you don't have foundation structure. The problem is there is no foundation structure. For example, if you watch about the UK in the 16th, 17th century, you saw the Industrial Revolution, foundation structure. Remember? Here, there's no foundation structure. No foundation structure in the sense that the economy is not proven to let people, like he rightly said, get into it. That is why we are trying to tussle now to begin to re-educate our people to understand that we are going towards a decision to now begin to develop. So the foundation structure is the primary source. For example, in food security, you cannot talk about agriculture if you don't have agricultural seedlings to use in planting. You cannot talk about agriculture if you don't have tractor assembling plant in the state to use for cultivating. So please, I would want you, if you get to the governor, to let him know about that so that you guys can come with him and help us in that sector. Okay? I'll be very, very hopeful. And because I'm going to be very, very hopeful, I know the chamber will be very, very hopeful as well, because these are great business scholars. And because they are great business scholars, they want real and proper process so that they can get into manufacturing, into other things, like you just said. The CEO told you about service export. Yeah, let me borrow from the UK, what would I call expert? UK expert, somebody like Adam Smith, David Ricardo, 1776, the theory of comparative advantage, the theory of absolute advantage. We have comparative advantage here in service. If you go to UK, you see we have a lot of medical doctors working for you guys there, and a lot of nurses working for you guys there too. So if we partner in that area, it will be also very good for us, provided we're going to partner in the form that we are going to allow these people to come home. Good, because I know UK has a law that if you don't say 5 years, you cannot travel. So you guys must refine that so that they can be coming in home here, helping here also, and then going back to you guys and working. So we have comparative advantage here, just like you have comparative advantage in technology or technologies. So you must help us to develop that also. So that is why I say your visit is hope. And hope brings courage. And when hope brings courage, of course, and when courage comes in, it means we will keep on it and we will make it. So we thank you so much. And we continue to pray to the Almighty God to continue to give you such initiatives so that we can move forward. Because it's been long with us in the UK, you know that. It's not something of today. So we need to be like brothers and sisters, isn't it? So I appreciate you. So to the end, I don't want to spoil the process. I'm here to ask to get up and then forward to you what we intend to make you see when you came by tonight.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All over.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good job for a long answer.
Okay, thank you. For the next couple of minutes, we have next John will be speaking, and then we can open up the space for further conversations before we bring the session to a close. Thank you. John,
Thank you. So thank you very much, and very, very useful and interesting. I've got lots and lots of different thoughts in my head, and I guess the thing that I'm sort of working through are both what are the sources of the constraints that you're facing, and where are the places that we as the UK can play a role in that. And obviously, at one level, you've seen that through the technical assistance that we provide. So there's our development assistance and there's our other types of technical assistance, which is a part of the package. But it feels to me like, and we all know, that that's never enough. And all that can do is be a spark to start off other processes. So there's a bit of that. I think the thing that we, the UK, want to move increasingly towards is being that facilitator, and Mariah's team does this, a facilitator between businesses here and businesses in the UK to make that trade work in both directions. I was talking on the media yesterday about the new sort of agreements that we've got and the agreements that we plan to get to make that a smoother process, and also the success that there has been, the financial increase in value of trade between the UK and Nigeria. So there's that element, but there's also, it strikes me the other element, which is the fact that we engage with government, and we engage with your federal government, and we engage with your state government, and the extent to which we're talking to them, as you've mentioned, about sort of key issues. And I guess I'm really interested in hearing from you around the table, sort of which of those different bits is the most important? Which of those bits do you think we can make the biggest difference? And I'm sure it'll be a mix. But for example, like given the timing I've come, the thing on the government side that I'm really focused on is the end of fuel subsidies and the exchange rate, and then whatever future reforms there are as well. So that's sort of top of my mind, and I'm interested to know how those sorts of issues, either those specific ones or other things, other reforms, have a practical effect on your ability to operate. Versus actually really what you need is for us just to bring in more British businesses with an appetite to invest in projects that you have here. So just getting a sense of that. I'm also, if I narrow it down on, well, either Inugu State or this body here, I'm interested to understand whether, and maybe this differs depending on the company, whether your growth interests and your growth prospects are about growing in the state that you're in and becoming more effective, having a bigger market in that state, or whether it's moving beyond the state. Because Professor, you mentioned things like having a tractor assembly factory here. I think you're the expert, and I'm definitely not, but I can't imagine having tractor assembly factories in every single state. So it seems to me there's something about a sort of regional approach to thinking about that economic infrastructure to make sure that it exists in places where it can be shared. But then I'm also interested in actually how many of your businesses could be exporting to the UK, be that goods or be that services. And there are various different sorts of services. If there's time, I might come back to the specific example of services that you mentioned. But that's a very narrow line, so I won't come into it directly. But I'm happy to talk about it later on if you'd like. But is that helpful as a sort of framing of the types of things that I'd be interested to hear from you? And Mariah, was there anything else from your side that you'd like to hear?
Certainly interesting topics that have come up, a couple of conversations that we're having with other states as well. I noted down the transfer of skills. So we've been speaking to individual states about, getting indigents to go to the UK, nurses, doctors, but of course we understand the political undertone of that, because that's also a huge topic at the federal government level, because they're losing skills from Nigeria. But that's a conversation that other states have had with us. I just wanted to point that out. I think maybe just to draw the line between what I do and what the FCDO does, we are the commercial arm. So maybe how we can partner with you would be conversations that we've had with states around agriculture, speaking to states to say, you can reach out to the UK. We're able to provide cheap, maybe fairly used, because we understand conversations around the pricing, around machineries and stuff for the folks that play in the agriculture space. And we've approached state governments to say, you can create a fund for players in this space where they can access those funds. We can provide the equipment they need. And of course, these are conversations that we probably would have with the governor and his team later, just to help them think around what they can provide real term for players in the space. I was also intrigued about the waste to, you call it waste to wealth. We have UK companies that do a lot in that space, companies that do provide solutions around waste to energy. So that's one that I noted and I would engage with him on to see how we can plug or match those companies or those investors with players like you to build capacity and upskill